Hi everyone, I am Mohammed Al-Qurishi from Ilm Company, Department of Research. I think I am the only one from industrial here. I don't know if somebody, from companies in the conference, but I will start inshallah to introduce Arabic named entity recognition using transformer-based CRF model. It is a very simple but effective. I will go in the presentation starting from a very quick overview about the NER and the transformer. Then the related work. I will explain the model architecture. I will go through the experiments, then the conclusion. At the beginning, I want to see what is named entity recognition and why it is important. Actually, I think everyone here in the conference, they knows what is named entity, but I want to explain, in a very simple way that it is a process of recognizing and extracting key information called entities from textual data, and this entity can be a person or location or organization or job, as you can see in the screen above in Arabic. And it's really important to use this kind of NLP task in different applications such as information retrieval and search optimization, and also in the content recommendation, and also in the customer support. It's also useful in chatbot and question answering. The transformer started by Faswani in 2017, and I think Dr. Ahmed Abdul Ali, he explained very, very deeply yesterday about the transformers and many models in the transformers. But I want to share with you here the blog from Jihad Al-Ammar. He explained it very well visually. And to give you just a brief about what the transformer consists of, it is, simply consists of two different stacks, one for the encoding and the other for decoding. Each stack contains in the base model 6 layers for each encoder and decoder, and it passes the semantic information that collected from the first layer to the next layer in using the self-attention mechanism, and pass this to the decoder, and the decoder takes this information and predict the target output, like what you see in the figure here for machine translation. It started actually with machine translation. There are many models after this paper published in 2017. You can find them in Hugging Face, starting from the GPT, BERT, GPT-2, and ending with Luke in 2021. BERT is one of the most, well-known transformer models. It was trained on, let us say, two fake downstream tasks to, after that, fine-tune it for real actually tasks such as question answering or named entity recognition or any other downstream important NLP tasks. The work in Arabic NER is not actually new. A lot of researchers they started this work and do a lot of good contribution in this field. There are three main types, as I read in the literatures: role-based and machine learning, and there is a hybrid models. The role-based, some of them, they are using just grammatical rules or ontologies. And in the machine learning, many papers, they use the support vector machine or CRF with support vector machine and random forest. They use in LSTM and PyLSTM. They use LSTM with CRF. And also there is some research work in the machine learning and role-based at the same time. These kind of works are good to some limit, but most of the researchers here do some, post-process and pre-process to improve the accuracy of their work. And actually, we were looking for like an end-to-end system to take only the raw data and feed it to the model and get directly the output data, especially for a product, like a search engine for a long documents or for a long sequence. We find the new, trend of the transformer like ArabBERT version 1, MBERT and GigaBERT and موضوع they have MBERT أيضا and ARBERT. All of them, they fine-tune their models to produce a good result with NER that comparable with the state of the art. So we took some of these models, the best of them, and we build our simple, architecture on these models. Our model, as you can see, consists of 3 main layers. The first one is the BERT layer, and the second is the fully connected layer, and the last one is the CRF layer. As you can see here, the BERT take the input, tokenize it. It contains also, the BERT tokenizer, and convert the tokens to embedding, and then pass the embedding through the layers. Here we did some concatenation in this part for different layers. Then we got the representation encoder for each token. The result of this embedding representation goes to the fully connected layer, which can be seen here. This is the output of the BERT model. It is 768 features multiplied by the sequence length. Then a linear operation, calculate the to reshape actually the output from BERT to the number of classes with the same sequence length. Then we do the argmax to select the best, the best tag for the sequence, and the result will be the shape of the sequence length for every with the tag, the scores for every tag here. This one goes to the CRF as an emission score probability, and the CRF eventually will take this data and plug it here in this equation to find the best tag with respect to the whole sequence. This is the emission that we take it from the linear layer. Then the CRF here calculated the likelihood of the label, for example, I, the probability of coming before this one, or the Y, I plus 1 coming with label I, and then we calculated the ZX for the whole sequence, which is the normalization for this all probability. It looks like this, as you can see in it is very complicated, but it used like dynamic programming to solve this, to calculate this function. And the loss function that have been used for CRF is the negative likelihood loss, and it's optimized the output of the tag selection. In our experiment, we use three kind of data sets. The very unknown, very known data sets that are public, the NER, Corp, and ACMAR. And also there is a new one in 2018 called the Classical Arabic Named Entity Recognition Corpus. It was used recently by a researcher in 2021. And we use those data set to evaluate our model. This data set for NER Corp, it was from Wikipedia and some news websites. The ACMAR is from Wikipedia, as they stated in their website. And this one for Classical Arabic, it is just a bunch of books and hadith books and religious texts written by Islamic scholars. The size of the data set, as you can see, it is 150 tokens for ANR and for the NER Corp, and 74K tokens for ACMAR, and 250K token for the Classical Arabic. Both in ACMAR and NER Corp are for the classes for the NER is just 4 for both of them, whereas the scanner is 20 classes. We fine-tuned 3 of the pre-trained model, as I said before, the Arabert, but we took the version 2 large by Antoine in 2022, and the Ara-Electra also by the same team from Abu Dhabi, I think, University, I don't remember. And the XLM Roberta. We fine-tune all of these 3 models for our BERT embedding layer with different sequences, 120 sequence and 256 and 512, and with different heads, because this is the large, and Electra and the XLM Roberta are the base. We have batch size 4 here and 16 here and 4, because we use Colab to implement our experiment. And this is the learning rate, and number of epochs was 5 for each model. We also tried to be the same as, the configuration for the experiment as the same as the models that we compare to. This is the first result for NER Corp. Comparing with all of the models that I mentioned before. When we concatenate the 6 layers, you can see that F1 macro was doing the, this one, the Arabert version 2 with CRF has the largest F1 macro, and the summation for 11 hidden layer was also doing and outperformed the previous, models for ENR Corp. The result for ACMAR dataset in the same model, we got this result in different sequences. We concatenate, 6 and 9 and 12 layers, and it performed well. We also compare, our work with 6 concatenation for the 6 hidden layers, the last 6 hidden layers, with the recent work in the Canner, Corpus data set, and we got 91 F macro. They didn't mention how much the F macro for them. The last one in ACMAR with Ara-Electra-based discriminator, CRF. We use just only the discriminator here. And it was also performed very well with respect to the other models. And lastly, we are applying this kind of architecture to our custom data set, and we have our own, classes. Our data set is legal data set. We are working with the Ministry of Justice here in KSA, and we did labeled 300,000, almost 300,045 token data set, and we got so far 85% in the F1 macro here. We have 18 classes. In conclusion, we conclude that tracking the dependencies between labels was very well performed because of the CRF, and also because of the representation of the embedding for each token after we got this output from BERT, and also summing and concatenating the vectors has been shown to be effective. And the intuition behind this is that in the hidden layers, because of BERT, it has the baseline, the base model of BERT has 12 layers, but the large model has 24 layers. And between those layers, there might be some information lost when moving from layer to the next. So when we concatenate some hidden layers, it has been, performing very well. We are planning to work on this ambiguity words for NER, and also working in the nested NER. For example, if we have like this example in the framework here, كونه يعمل بإدارة هندسة توزيع الشركة السعودية. When I bought these sentences in فرنسا, it discovered only السعودية. And this is actually right, because السعودية here is a country or location, but at the same time it should, be بإدارة هندسة توزيع الشركة. This is an organization and this is location, right? So this is what we call it nested NER, and we hope that we can perform better because we applied this in our search engine our semantic search engine for cases inside the Ministry of Justice. Thank you very much, and that's from my side.